Here I'm going to show you how to make two different dragons using the bird base. We'll start by folding in half to make a rectangle. Give that a crease and then unfold. Now we'll fold it in half to make a rectangle from the other direction. Again, give that a good crease and then unfold. Next we'll rotate this and fold it in half to make a triangle. We'll give this a good crease and then unfold. Now we're going to flip this over and fold in half to make a triangle from the last direction. After creasing this, we'll unfold and pop this up in the center like so. Then we'll push these sides in, pinch it, and squash it flat. And that's our square base. Now we're going to turn this into the bird base. You should notice that you have this flap here on the left and right side on top. You also have this open end here. From the open end, we're going to take the top flap and fold it in towards the middle line. We'll do that on the opposite side as well. Fold in towards the middle crease. Make sure you crease these edges nice and hard. This next step is optional, but it helps out a lot if you're not used to making the bird base. We're going to take the point here and simply fold it down to meet the edges of the paper in the center. We'll give that a crease and then unfold. That crease will be used as a guideline for the next step. Return that top point and then open up these flaps. Next we're going to open this up from the bottom and fold it back to that guideline we just created. As you push this back, you're going to need to reverse the creases of the folds on top. It shouldn't be too hard if you made good creases earlier on. Once you've got that, squash it flat and recrease the whole thing. It should look something like this diamond here with the slit down the middle. Now we're going to flip it over and do the exact same thing. Okay, and there's our bird base. Take notice of these two free leggy flap things here. We're going to use those next. Take the right flap and fold it up and to the right, like so. Give this a good crease because we're going to use those as guidelines. Now let's return it to the down position and open up the side here. We're going to take this flap and fold it up. To do that, we're going to need to reverse the middle crease and also the crease here on the left. Once you've done that, squash it flat. Okay, there you go. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the left-hand side. Alright, now that we've got those done, we're going to take this flap in the middle and fold it down. Now we'll take this flap on top and fold it in towards the middle, kind of like you were making an airplane. Give that a good crease for a guideline and then unfold it. Now we're going to fold that flap in towards the middle from the bottom. As you fold in towards the middle, you'll see that it kind of pulls the top flap along with it. You'll want to squash that down along the guidelines that we just created. There you go. Now let's repeat the process on the other side. When you're done, you should get something that looks like this. Okay, from here let's flip this over. Let's take these flaps on the left and right and simply fold them up like so. You'll end up with this shape that looks like a 4-point star, with the bottom point being slightly skinnier. For the time being, let's call this our dragon base. The bottom point is going to be our tail, the top point our head and neck, and these on the left and right will be our wings. From this base you have a lot of option for modifications. You can change the thickness of the wings or the neck, etc. It's up to you. So the dragon that I'm about to show you is just one version. Let's fold this in half along the middle spine here. From here I'm going to do a series of alternating reverse folds to make the head and the tail. Again, there's lots of modifications that you can choose to do. It's up to you. I'm going to take this point that will become the head and fold it back and give this a good crease for a guideline. Once I have that crease, I'm going to open it up and reverse it. That's why it's called a reverse fold, and refold it, like so. Before you pinch the reverse fold flat, you do have some option to tug on it slightly to change its shape if you didn't get the right angle the first time. And that's basically it. Now I'm going to do a few more reverse folds to create the shape of the head, and then I'll do the same with the tail. And I could stop right there if I like the dragon to have kind of a beaky style head, but I kind of like to fold it back and give it this kind of boxy muzzle, but also it gives it a little horn there. If you like the boxy muzzle but not the horn, you can fold it inside and under instead of back and on top. And now again, a series of reverse folds to just put a little kink in the tail there. And there you go, a winged serpent-like dragon. So a conversation on my Facebook wall requested that I make a dragon with legs. There's some really great patterns out there, but they can be pretty tricky to make. Here I'll show you how to mod from this dragon base a dragon that has legs, kind of. Again, we'll fold this in half down along the middle spine. For this mod, I'll use the thicker part on the left as the head again, and the skinnier part on the right for the tail. But again, you can modify the thicknesses, no problem. Now I'm going to do a reverse fold that uses this triangle edge here on the bottom as the guideline. That means I'm going to crease it to that edge and then flip it back. I'll crease it on the right, and then I'll crease it on the left here. And as I reclose this, you'll see that I've got a reverse fold along that edge. Here I'll make a crease to do another reverse fold. In the original model, this would have been the head, but I'll do another series of reverse folds for that. and this is actually going to be the neck. Since my dragon's going to be standing, I want a nice long regal neck, so I'm actually going to pull this fold and reshape the angle like that before I pinch it down. Okay, now I'll do another crease here to help me make the head, and I'll do an inside reverse fold for the head here. I'm not a fan of that sharp beak for this dragon, so I'm just going to fold that back and tuck it under. And there you go. There's the head and neck of our dragon. Now let's work on the front legs. If you gently lift up the wing, you'll see this triangle tab up here in the front. As you gently try to lift the wing up further, you'll see that that triangle tab kind of curls in. That's exactly what you want to do. You want to pull the wing up so that the triangle tab curls in, and as it curls in about halfway, you pinch it flat, like so. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Pull up and let that curl in, and then pinch it flat. Okay, now as we've done this, you'll see that the wings kind of stick out at an angle, and they're slightly pointed down, so we'll just want to reverse that right there in the middle and point them up slightly. Now we're going to add definition to the rear legs. We're basically repeating the process that we did up front, lifting the wing and folding in on that triangle tab there. The problem is, of course, that that triangle tab is much smaller and this is much more delicate work. Okay, so there you go. One rear leg. Let's do the same on the other side now. Okay, here's our modified dragon with front and rear legs. Now I'm going to put a kink in the tail to match the angle of its feet. Again, we'll just use a series of reverse folds to make the kink in the tail. And there you go. One standing winged dragon. It's a modification of the dragon that I just showed you. I'm not saying it's better. It looks different. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, don't make it.